This is about 7.3 carats of Sunset Tourmaline. It's clean. I've had it for a very long time. I was going through my stock of rough and I found it. I didn't know I had it. I bought it a very long time ago from the late Jeff Graham. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in, see if I can look at the interior of it with Refractol. So Refractol is not perfect for looking at Tourmaline, but it's better than nothing. So take a look. And I don't believe there's any internal issues with this stone. I don't see any fractures or inclusions. I think it's good to go. So this is the package that my rough came in. I didn't keep real good records. It's been a very long time, but I believe, and some of you other fasteners who were around a couple decades ago can tell me, I think this is Jeff Graham's, the way he labeled his stock. So I think I got this, I believe I got this rough from the late Jeff Graham. I told you all in a previous video where I cut another gem material into this Sunset Vista design that I wanted at some point in the future to try this design using Sunset Tourmaline. And that's simply because Arya, the creator of this design, said that he prefers to use this design on cutting Sunset Tourmaline rough. So here goes. Arya's design can be found on the website called the Gemology Project. All right, so I'm going to preform our stone, and I'll go to the girdle first. So I'll set the angle at 90 degrees and cut around the girdle to set the size of our stone. So the first thing I do is set the machine at a 90-degree angle. And work around the set of instructions for the girdle. So I reverse the direction of my lap so that any water that spills out is spilling out away from me. So I'll go counterclockwise. I start a drip on my water, and that's going to help the swarf flow off of the lap. And I put a sponge in to also help make sure water doesn't spill out. And the reason water could spill out is because as I'm cutting this 90-degree angle, I have to move my drip tray down, and that's where water could get out. So now I'm going to go around the instructions. Okay, so I've used my 320 grit topper lap and preformed the girdle. So there's still a little bit of problem here. I didn't want to get rid of that. I would have had to bring the girdle in a little bit more and make the stone smaller. There's no need to. I can bring the top down the bottom. This is the pavilion, the bottom, but bring that down to cut through this, and I think that'll still leave me this much space, plenty of space for the crown, but I'll check that. And so that's how I'll take care of this piece of leftover from the rough, the shape of the initial rough. And the rest of the stone's looking pretty good. So now I'll use my 600 grit topper lap and cut the P1 line of instruction and make a center point here on the pavilion. And then our stone will be pretty well preformed. I've gone over the first line of instructions on the pavilion with my 320 grit topper lap, and I got most of the bad spots out. There's a couple of little dings here that I'll clean up with my finer laps as I work through pre-polishing, and a little bit there. But I pretty well got the size of the stone set, and I checked my C to W ratio, my crown to width ratio, which is 0.148 multiplied by the width, and that would tell me how much I need, how much space I need for the crown. And you got to add a little bit for a girdle, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 millimeters. And I checked it, and I do have enough space in the bottom half here to cut the top half, the crown of the stone. So everything's looking real good. I haven't made a center point here, but there's two other lines of instruction, two other rows of facets that will take a little bit more off of the pavilion, and that'll form my true center point, and I think that'll take care of that little flat spot there. So it's looking real good so far. I finished polishing up the bottom half of our Sunset Tourmaline. I used 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap, and so now I'll transfer the stone and cut the upper half. All right, when I transfer my Sunset Tourmaline to cut the upper half of the stone, I'm going to take advantage of the Ultratech keyed dop feature, which is the dop cut at a 45-degree angle. And in the transfer fixture, or transfer jig, when you put it in, it slides under the back part right here. So it goes in one way, and then your other dop, my cone-shaped dop, because I cut to a center point here, a culet. So on this dop, we want the key dop feature aligned, so we put it in, and it also slides under the back part of the transfer fixture, and that's going to ensure that when I put the stone back in the machine, that the girdle is aligned where it needs to be. I'll still check it because it could be off a little bit, but that key dop feature generally means it's going to be perfectly aligned. So now I'll go ahead and transfer the stone, and I'll be using my ultraviolet light activated super glue, which been working very well. So let me show you how I do that. Okay, so I just put a drop of the super glue in the bottom part of our bottom dop. And the good thing about this super glue is it doesn't set up until I hit it with the ultraviolet light. So I have plenty of time to work with it. Now I'll turn the transfer fixture over and let gravity do its work and make sure that I've got glue super glue everywhere, touching the dot and the stone. I got a good contact. And then when I'm ready, we'll hit it with the UV light. It'll only take 2 seconds to set, to cure, I guess it's to cure the super glue. And then at that point, I'm ready to continue cutting, which has really been a game changer for me because I don't have to wait. I don't have to have multiple projects sitting and wait for one to finish before I start the other. And I can touch it and it's already dried. It's ready to go. So I haven't had any problems with this product. I've seen online a couple of people said their super glue didn't work, but I don't know which brand they're using. The Helios is not what I'd call cheap, but so far it works 100% of the time, so that's what I do. So I'm gonna now remove the other dot from the stone. Okay, to remove the dot from the half of the stone that I'm gonna start cutting on, the upper half, you wanna make sure you're talking about the right part. So this is the part that of the stone, you can see it kind of goes into a culet, it forms a point. So this is the part we want to remove. So you want to make sure you don't confuse that and remove the wrong dot. So then what I do is I get a piece of paper towel, wet it, and I wrap it around the stone to keep the stone cooler when I heat the dot. Some people say that's not necessary. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. That's what I do. Then I double check, make sure I've got the right half sticking out. Again, you don't want to remove the dot from the wrong part of the stone. It's very easy to do. So then I use a torch. I'm using currently the Blazer. I'm not really thrilled with it. I'm gonna upgrade. It's okay. Haven't found the perfect torch that I like. This is a butane torch, so, and I get my needleless pliers. And just quickly heat the dot. Remove it, and that's all it takes. The other tool that I have is this little vise, and I got it from Home Depot, or I can't remember if it was Home Depot or Lowe's. Might have been Lowe's, I'm not sure. It was only a couple of dollars. Handy little vise. It's not the greatest vise. I've seen some other ones online, and I'm gonna eventually upgrade to a better vise, but that's just a third set of hands for me. So now my stone is ready to cut. So now I'm going to take advantage of the keyed dot feature from my Ultratech, and as I transfer the stone, so I set my angle at 90 degrees, and I put my flat piece of metal that I got from Ultratech on my flattest lap, which is my ceramic. And actually I bought a calibrated block that's that I set on my lap first, and that adds a little bit of height, so I didn't have to put my head so far down to see where we're level at. Okay, then with the key dot feature, the dot goes in one way, and you can tell because it sets right there's the way it goes in. And because of the key dot feature, I should be lined up. This facet should be, when I set my index teeth at for one of the teeth that you cut the girdle at, which was the 3, the 9, the 15, and every 6 teeth. We set it on that. We should be flat and level. and I'll check that. Okay, so with the key dot feature, it's easy to override it. You can just twist the dot and put it anywhere you want, but using the key dot feature, I've got the stone and you can see that bottom facet at the, I'm at the 39 index tooth, and that bottom facet, you want it to break the plane of that metal block all across the facet at the same time, not one side breaking it if it was a little bit crooked. If the facet was like that or like that, you'd be out of alignment. But when it's breaking the plane all at the same time, you're in alignment, your facets are lined up, your top will line with the bottom. Now, I set it up with the 39 tooth. What you look for is the index teeth that you use to cut the girdle, and I used, and the instructions call for the 3, the 9, the 15, and every 6 index teeth. So the reason I used the 39 is that my set screw is right here on the top, and it was more convenient for me to have it there at the 39 so I could use my Allen wrench. That's the only reason. Any of the facets along the girdle would have been fine. So now we're ready to start cutting. The other thing is I left the adhesive on the top of this stone. So you can see all the adhesive that was left on the stone when I removed the dop. And I've shown you in previous videos a number of ways to get that off. But in this case, since I have a lot of rough here on the girdle, so I'll be cutting a lot of this away. With the rougher laps, I don't have any problem cutting this off. So with my topper laps, my 320, I'll get rid of most of this. I wouldn't want, if I only had a little bit of girdle space and I was using a very fine grit, I would not want that to remove that adhesive with my finer laps, because it does kind of gum them up and it takes a little while to clean them out. But the rougher laps will chew right through that, so I'm not going to worry about that adhesive at all. Okay, I've gone over the crown, the top part of our Sunset Tourmaline with my 12M lap, about a 1500 grit diamond sintered lap from Ukraine. And now I'm going to go over these facets with 8000 grit diamond on a zinc lap. And I'm using a different light here. I put a Chromolux light. It's a full spectrum lamp, 100 watt clear, in my Ultratech machine, and just to see if the lighting's any better. It's supposed to be very close to natural light, so we'll see how this works out. And here's the lighting from my incandescent 100 watt bulb, clear, not frosted light bulb, which I recently upgraded my Ultratech with, so I'm not sure if Chromolux is going to be an improvement or not, but I'm going to test it out. And here's my old LED light that I was using. It's a frosted and it's LED. And switching to a clear incandescent, I am able to notice scratches easier. And in America, they are phasing out the incandescent 100 watt bulb, but a clear bulb to me helps. Clear incandescent does help me find scratches. Not sure of the wattage. Some people say 40 watt bulbs are better than 100 watt bulbs. I'm still testing, but I am able to find scratches better with an incandescent clear, not frosted, over my LED. And here's the Chromolux box, in case you're interested. It claims to mimic natural light better than other bulbs, so 100 watt clear. I'm going to test it out. I'm not saying, telling you what is best or not best. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, and you can use any lighting you want. But in America, they are phasing out the incandescent 100 watt bulb. No matter what you find at your local hardware store currently, they are in the process of phasing out incandescent bulbs and it's because of energy efficiency. Okay, I've pre-polished the first 2 rows closest to the girdle with my 8000 grit diamond on a zinc lap, and you can see the difference between a 8000 grit pre-polish and a 12M 1500 grit, which is the other facets towards the top. So I'll continue to pre-polish our Sunset Tourmaline. Okay, I polished up the upper half of our Sunset Tourmaline, so now I will set the stone in my Ultratech so that I can cut and polish the table, and then we'll be done with this gemstone. Okay, I finished polishing the table on our gemstone, so now I'll soak it in the acetone, and we'll be able to weigh it, measure it, and send it off to BOPIE. So here's a quick tip on how to put your stone into your package, display package. Most of you know this. Let me just show you in case you're new to this, haven't ever done it. Instead of trying to put the stone in the package, it's kind of hard to center. I find it much easier to put the stone in the lid and then put the package on, and then it's pretty well centered. Today, I cut a beautiful Sunset Tourmaline into a round design called Sunset Vista. The reason I wanted to cut Sunset Tourmaline into Arya's Sunset Vista design is because Arya said that he prefers to use this design on Sunset Tourmaline gemstones. The final gemstone looked great. Thanks for the tip, Arya. As far as the design, Sunset Vista, this design is suitable for any level of gem cutter. So do give this design a try and let us know in the comments what you think of the design and of my, BOPIE'S new Sunset Tourmaline. And as always, happy fasting, everyone.